Hi VC, it's Phil. Greetings from British Columbia. I'm back to do another video. I haven't been on for a couple of weeks. We've been on holiday and we just got back early this week. And now my lovely wife has gone camping for 4 days, so I've got time to actually do videos rather than work on the house, which is what we've been doing. Everything's just about done. I've got my albums back in my room. I don't have them unboxed, but I do have access to them, so I can pull them out and show you a few things. Tonight I'm going to do my 30 favorite groups. And I struggled with this. I really did. There's so many bands that I love. I've got 1,600 plus albums. There's so many groups, hundreds of them. And to try and pick out just 30 was just, I must have redone this list 8, 9, 10 times. And I'm so disappointed. There's so many bands I wanted to put on it, but I had to leave out. Only so many can fit in this list, right? So this list is based on what I listen to most of all. I'm not saying that these are the best groups or these are the most best-selling groups or the most popular groups, but this is my opinion of what I listen to the most right now. It's going to differ from your list. There's going to be some Canadian stuff in here because that's where I am that you may not or may have heard of. I'm not sure, depending on where you are. So enough apologies. I'm just going to do this. Again, please leave comments below. Be kind, because I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying your groups that you like are not good. Now, a week or so ago, when I was on holiday, I brought my laptop with me and I saw Pete Pardo at Sea of Tranquility did his top 30 bands, favorite bands, pardon me. And he didn't, I really like the way he did it, because at number 30, he just listed a group of them. Like, he decided at 30 I'm not going to list a group, I'm going to list all the groups that just didn't quite make this list, so I'm going to do the same thing. At number 30 I'm going to put ZZ Top, the Ramones, Tom Petty, Deep Purple, Tragically Hip, Metallica, Bruce Cockburn, Saxon, Judas Priest, Billy Joel, Aerosmith, and there's just, you're right, there's just countless of others. I could just keep going and going and going. There's just so many. And I was a little disappointed Aerosmith didn't make my top cut of groups, but I sort of lost interest in them after the Night in the Ruts album. I thought their quality dropped a bit after that, and then they got in the new, cleaned up Aerosmith with the Dude Looks Like a Lady and Janie's Got a Gun. I just couldn't get into all that newer stuff of theirs, the 90s stuff. I just couldn't get into it as much. I enjoyed the songs, but it just, I just thought it was not as good as their earlier, harder edge stuff. So I'm going to leave them out of this on the top 30. They'll be in the 30 group. So I'm going to start at number 29. And number 29, fantastic guitarist. If you've never seen him live, you're missing a great performance. George Thorogood and the Destroyers. Fantastic guitarist. Great live performer. Nothing but energy. Really, really good artist. 28, Scottish rockers Nazareth, tons of albums, great hits, great riffs, classic band. Everybody knows Nazareth, they're just a great band. Number 27, ELO. And this, if you don't have this, is probably the best one of the best compilations I've got. It's the very best of Electric Light Orchestra. It came out a year or so ago, I think. And it's just a great collection, but I love ELO. Really great style, a lot of different styles and instruments they play. It's just really fun to listen to. Number 26, Journey. A little bit commercial, sure, but it's really catchy songs. Great to listen to in the car. Their live album, this one in fact, Captured, was a fantastic live album. If you haven't heard that, give it a spin. It's a great, but I love Journey. Number 25, Canadian group, used to go by Red Rider, now they go by Tom Cochrane, but it's still the same band, it's still the same musicians. Tom Cochrane and Red Rider, this album is Mad Mad World. I don't know if you can see that or not with the glare on the screen, my apologies. But they're one of my wife's favorite bands, and we've been to see him 5 or 6 times. And I see on his tour t-shirts that he's always playing the States, so I'm sure a lot of people down in the States have heard him. I'm not sure about Europe if he ever made it over there or not, but great Canadian band. Number 24, British Blues, slash rocker, Long John Baldery. Great voice, great guitars, fantastic music. This is Baldry's Out, probably my favorite album of his. And I should say that all these albums that I'm showing of all these groups are not really indicative of my favorite album of theirs. I just pulled it out of the box so I could just have something to show you rather than my pretty face. Yeah, right, we'll get over that right now. Long John Baldry, number 24. Number 23, and I said there's going to be some Canadians in here. Neil Young, big worldwide, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, went on his own. Great guitarist, great vocalist. This is Harvest Moon. I found this on new vinyl. The album never came out on vinyl when it was introduced. I had it on CD. I'm trying to get rid of CDs because I just prefer the sound on them with the vinyl. Harvest Moon, great album. Number 22. Canadian theme. Ooh, sorry guys. Guess Who, but everybody knows them. American Woman, I'm sure everybody knows that song. Fantastic, great hits. A little bit of a hippie band on some of their early albums. Some people might listen to their early albums and go, what the heck were these guys smoking? But great band. And the interesting story, where we were just on holidays, a place called Salt Spring Island. It's the largest Gulf island between us on the coast and Vancouver Island. We're on the west coast of Canada, if some of you don't know where British Columbia is. There's a lake there called St. Mary's Lake, and a few years ago we were staying at some cabins we rented there. We were there for a wedding, and across the end of the lake was a house owned by a certain Mr. Randy Bachman, and it happened to be his birthday, and he had his old guys, including Burton Cummings, out, and they were playing live out on their back lawn, and we would just lay on the deck, hands back, cold beer or whatever we were drinking, and just listen to the tunes for a couple of hours. They just played their little hearts out, just constant riffs and solos. It was so much fun. Such a cool band, I guess. My number 21. I love these guys. I don't think they really made it huge here. We saw them live last summer. They played a place here called the Blue Frog Studios, which is just what it says. It's a recording studio. For concerts, it seats 100. They did a live podcast, I think it's called. And you've never heard 100 people sound like 2,000 people until you get in a little room like this. Best acoustics I've ever heard. And it's just spot on sound. Dual guitar band, old English band, Wishbone Ash. Still going strong. You ever get a chance to see them live, you're missing a treat, because these guys are fantastic live. Dual guitars, excellent long guitar solos, really good band. Check them out if you don't know them. Number 20. We're getting into the good stuff. The really good stuff. 20. Blue Oyster Cult. Loved Blue Oyster Cult for years. A friend of mine really turned me onto these guys a few years ago. I had Godzilla. I'd had Godzilla and I had Don't Fear the Reaper, of course, and they're played to death on the radio. And I thought, these guys do nothing else, because they never play anything else. And then a buddy loaned me an album to play. I think it was that one actually, Fire of Unknown Origin. And I played it and thought, wow, I gotta hear more of these guys. And he loaned me Spectres, and then he loaned me Secret Treaties. And before you know it, over the last year, I've got every album of theirs. Up to, not including Club Ninja. I heard that. I didn't really care for it as much. I sort of lost interest in them a bit after that one. But I loved their classic stuff before that. I've got them all. Great live albums. Blue Oyster Cult, fantastic band. Number 19. This is a solo artist. He got a bit cheesy in the late 70s, early 80s. But I still love him. Raspy old Rod Stewart. I haven't seen him live, but I wished I had. I heard his voice is going now, and he's probably not going to be doing too many tours, if ever again. That's a loss for the rock and roll world. Great artist, fun to watch. I've seen lots of videos of him anyway live, and I think I got a DVD of his somewhere. Everything's still packed up for painting, but fantastic artist. I love Rod Stewart. So he's number 19. And again, the order of this list could change. I mean, I wrote this thing, like I said, 9-10 times and reversing and changing things back. No, I like him better, but this is the closest I could come. And really, all these bands are even on a plane with each other, but I had to rate them somehow. 18, American Rocker Styx. Love Styx. Fantastic album covers too. These guys are some of the most inventive covers. I'm not sure who did their album art, but wow. Grand Illusion. Great album. Great band. Love Styx. Number 17. Another American Midwest band. REO Speedwagon. I shouldn't have picked this one because there's a glare on the cover as well as the glare from the light in the room, but this is, you can't tune a piano, but you can tune a fish. Whatever. But it's a good album. I love REO Speedwagon, and they're going to figure, well, I won't say prominently, but they got an album high up in my top 50 that I'm going to do tomorrow or next day. Number 16, BTO, another Vancouver group, Bachman Turner Overdrive. Really hard rock Canadian band. Everybody knows BTO, I'm sure. I don't need to explain about these guys. I never saw them live. I was too young to see them while they were still performing and out touring, but I have met Randy Bachman a couple of times. He likes to frequent these record album fairs, vinyl fairs that happen. We have one twice a year here in Vancouver, and I've seen him a couple of times. He's autographed an album for me that I gave to my brother for a present, because my brother really loved them too. Number 15, Cheap Trick. Live at Budokan was a fantastic album, but before that album came out, I was a fan of these guys. I bought Heaven Tonight and In Black and White and In Color. Fantastic group. I never even heard these guys play. I just read reviews about them in an old magazine, sort of an old newspaper that used to be out in the mid to late 70s called Music Express. It's not printed anymore. It used to be, I used to find it in the record store all the time, and I'd pick it up once a month. And that's how I heard about Boston, too. I thought, well, this is Tom Schultz guy. He seems to be pretty high on himself. I should listen to this album. So I did. And that's how I heard about Cheap Trick. And I've been fans of them ever since. They're just a fun band. Robin Zander, what a great vocalist. Number 14, no arguments with this one in my top 15 list, I'm sure. Eagles. Again, I never saw them live. I'm kicking myself because they came to our town once a couple of years ago or so when Glenn Frey was still alive. And I thought, damn, the tickets are just too expensive. I can't quite do this. Not this time. I'll catch him next time. And then he passed away. And it was, a buddy of mine that I work with, the mechanic, actually almost cried the day when I told him Glenn Frey passed away. They were just his band. He saw them live once and he says, oh my God, no. And then Tom Petty passed away too, and he was devastated because that was one of his second favorite performers, Tom Petty. Number 13, Eric Clapton. Great, just great. And this album, if you don't know this album, Backless, this is from 1978. Fantastic album. What can you say about Eric Clapton? If you've never seen his guitar festival videos, go get them. They're on DVD. Fantastic. He hosts a guitar fest to fund donate to his recovery center. Excellent concerts. A lot of great artists performing them. Number 12. Here we go. Sorry, I don't have this list memorized. Number 12, Supertramp. Great band. I've only seen them live once. That was we had a big dome stadium open here, one of those air held aloft vinyl Teflon roofs, which is now gone because it fell apart years ago. But when they opened the stadium, when it opened back in '86, and Bryan Adams was the backup group, I believe, I want to say. And so Bryan Adams was still a kid, and still just cutting his teeth. He had 3 albums out, I think, at that point. I think Reckless had just come out, and Supertramp was the headlining act. Just wow, what a great performance! I always loved Supertramp. They're going to be in my couple of albums in my top 50 as well. Spoiler alert. Number 11 is a local Vancouver group again. One of my favorites. They were the first band I saw live in a little arena here called The Gardens. It seats about 2,400, I think it did. Fantastic live album. They've been around since 1974, 75, I want to say. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look back at the first album. Local legends. They're great. They're well known in Canada. I'm sure they're well known in the States as well. Trooper. This is probably their biggest album, Thick as Thieves. This came out in 1979, And big hit off this was Raise a Little Hell. I'm sure everyone knows that one because I hear it played at hockey arenas in between the stoppages and play all the time, and even in the States. And I'm sure everyone knows that one. It's a radio staple. My top 10. And again, if my list is different than yours, it's going to be. Everyone hears music differently. Everyone listens to music differently. Everyone interprets music differently. So we all have different tastes. Again, this is my taste. Right now, this list could change and alter. I could very easily make the system over again and flip the order of a lot of these groups. But for now, this is what I'm going to go with. Number 10, Rolling Stones. And this is my mint copy of Sticky Fingers, The Zipper Works. Just my favorite album of theirs. My favorite song when they're Brown Sugar. I just love this album. And number 9, we're getting into the really good stuff now. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Sorry about that. Number 9, The Doors. I fell in love with The Doors years and years ago. One of the first bands I really got into, and my mom and dad could not understand why I liked these guys. And I don't know, it's just Jim Morrison's voice and the lyrics. I tried to interpret the lyrics and what he was trying to say in a lot of his songs, and I was just mesmerized by them. So I love The Doors. Number 8, a band I've seen 6 or 7 times, I want to say. I once sat front row in one of their concerts in front of the speakers, and I didn't hear a thing for 2 days afterwards. My ears were just ringing. Luckily, I was younger back then, and I couldn't do that nowadays. But AC/DC. In this concert I saw, we had to, where I saw them in front row. I think it was the For Those About to Rock tour, I'm pretty sure it was. And back in those days, before the internet and Ticketmaster and whatever ticket service you had where you live, we have Ticketmaster here in Canada, you had to go to the store. And our ticket outlet was the Hudson's Bay, or as we call it, the Bay. And you had to go stand at customer service area and stand in line with 5,000 other people hoping to get tickets for the show. And you could only buy 4 at a time. They had limits. You couldn't just sell out 5,000 tickets for the first guy in the line, no matter how much money you had. You had the limit of 4 tickets. And I was lucky enough to get 2 tickets front row. My buddy Pete and I went, sat front row in front of the speakers, got coated in sweat from Angus Young. It was just disgusting, but I think about it now. But back then it was just cool because we were really young and absolutely blasted with the noise. It was just deafening. But it's a memory I will never forget. Number 7, an artist that I don't really see getting a lot of love and a lot of attention on the BC, and I don't quite understand why. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I love her. I love her voice. I love her arrangements on her songs, and she's going to have an album or 2 in my top favorite 50. I'm going to tell you that right now. I love Joan Jett. Ever since the Runaways, I followed the Runaways. I have all their albums too. Just a nasty rock and roll. I don't want to say the word chick, but nasty rock and roll lady. Just, she just flat out rocks. Not many ballads in there, and her treatment of classic songs like Crimson and Clover and what's the other one? Sly and the Family Stone, Everyday People. Just great treatment of those songs. She treats them with great respect and does great versions of them. Joan Jett, who doesn't know Joan Jett, right? And number 6, we're going to get into the real big heavy bands now that most everyone expects to be up here. Pink Floyd. My buddy Greg will give me crap for having them down out of the top 5. They're his favorite band. He's got everything they've ever done. Triplicate, special edition boxes, DVDs, CDs, Russian copies, Mexican copies, you name it. But I like them enough that I have one of all of their albums, except for the last couple. I wasn't all that much into the Endless River, and I don't have Division Bell yet. It's on new vinyl only, and most of the stores here seem to want $40-45 for it, and I'm sorry I'm not going to spend that much on an album. But this is Animals, one of my favorites of theirs. Pink Floyd, number 6. Number 5, and again, I wanted to put these guys higher, but I just, for the moment, in my opinion, I just couldn't. Hammer of the Gods, Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, fantastic album. I love Zeppelin. They don't have a bad album. They got a few songs that I don't particularly care for, but not a bad album in the bunch. Um, what can you say? You know, anyone goes to Led Zeppelin, I don't get it, but that's okay. That's my opinion. Um, Number 4, Canadian rockers power trio. I once read it in Rolling Stone, I think it was. A reviewer on one of their albums from saw a live show said, "I've never heard three guys make so much noise in my entire life." And what a noise, though. Rush. Fantastic album out of Ontario, Toronto. Great band, great albums. You've never seen Rush like, wow, you were missing something. They don't tour anymore. They've disbanded and retired from touring because Neil Peart, the drummer, wanted to give it up and just wanted to relax and take some time to himself. Whatever. I guess everyone's tired of the same routine for years and years. But arguably the best drummer ever. Now, I never saw Keith Moon. I was too young. I never saw John Bonham. I was too young. But Neil Peart live drumming was just a sight to behold. Was just a machine the man was. My favorite three. I'm going to take some heat for this number 3, and so be it. This is my opinion again. This is a band that has been together since, 1962, I want to say. They started out as a psychedelic band. They had one big hit in Canada that's still played on the, oldies hour on the FM stations here. We don't have any AM music stations anymore. They used to play them a little bit, but the FM stations don't seem to give any love except for this one old song. I don't really care for that one song. The band never really made it big in Canada. I don't know if they made it big in the States or not. I've never seen them tour. I always check their website to see if they're ever coming overseas. But they're huge in England, still going. Huge in Europe, still going. And they actually opened Live Aid. British rockers, 3-4 card band, Status Quo. I love them. I've loved them since 1975. Cousins of ours and my aunt and uncle came over from England, and he bought some tapes for me to listen to because he didn't really like our stuff a lot that he was worried about, and we couldn't find something to listen to on the radio. One day we were driving around, he says, "Listen to this." He popped this cassette in of Status Quo, and wow, I just loved it. Great riffs, great tunes. Not the most sophisticated rockers by any stretch of the imagination. They do not have the presence of a Zeppelin or a Floyd by any stretch of the imagination. But it's just flat out rock, great boogie, great tunes. Status Quo, I love these guys. And a lot of guys may not have heard of them on this side of the pond, but that's, again, my opinion. That's my experience with them. Sentimental. I just love these guys. Number 1 and 2. I had so much trouble with this. So much trouble. I'm still sitting here right now thinking, well, what do I hold up? And I'm not going to hold the album up because it'll give it away. But, yeah. I so badly want to put this group number 1. Excuse me. But, for now, the way I feel right now, I'm going to put the Beatles at number 2. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I've rewritten this list. I could show you where I've written it down. I've blacked it out 6-7 times and changed them in reverse order. But the Beatles, I'm going to put it number 2 right now. And that might be just because I've heard them so much. Granted, I know every word, all the words. I could sing along to anything. I saw the Beatles live in England on Top of the Pops. I was 3 and 4 years old. I don't remember it all, but apparently I've seen them. Wow. I'm still debating this once I even say this list. Number 1, this second, Queen. And again, this is not my favorite album of theirs. These are just albums I pulled off at random off the shelf just to show you something. That, hey, I have these guys. I love them. Queen, yeah. 1977, I want to say. I was 13, 14. And I heard a song of theirs on the radio. I think it was Killer Queen. I'm pretty sure I heard Killer Queen on the radio. I thought, oh, these guys sound interesting. What else do they do? And one day we were down at the library, and I was looking through the albums. I was just starting to really get into music and rock and roll and understanding it, and collecting stuff at that time. And so this album with a big crest on the front, it was a black album. I thought, Queen, They Ain't the Racist. Well, those are the guys I heard on the radio. I don't know this album. I don't know these songs. I'm going to bore this. Took it home, spun side one, and by the end of the first track, Tie Your Mother Down, I was just hooked. Absolutely hooked. Line and sinker. Reel me in. I was done. That was my band. And I drove my brothers and my parents insane. They actually went out, my parents went out and bought me headphones for my little stereo I had, so they couldn't even play this album incessantly. Because I would play one side, play this side, and put it back on. That's how much I loved this band. I just could not get enough of them. And as soon as I took it back to the library, I went out with my allowance and my car washing and my lawn mowing and my paper delivery money, and I bought the thing brand new. And I still have it, still mint condition. Excuse me, the album's got a little bit of ring wear, but sorry, my voice is giving out. It's late at night and I'm tired, but Queen, arguably my favorite band, and I may switch this tomorrow morning. I may wake up and say, what did I do? I put the Beatles number 2. But that's what I think right now. Again, my list will differ from yours, I know. And that's the great thing about music, isn't it? Is you hear different stuff. People hear things differently. They like different artists. Again, my best friends, Greg and Peter and Paul, all collected vinyl. My older brother, Stephen, collected vinyl. And we all have the same sort of general taste. Top 40 classic album, classic rock sort of thing. But we all have that band that we just love that the other guys don't maybe appreciate as much or don't quite get. My friends don't get Status Quo. My friend Paul does. He loves them. They're not into as much as Queen as I am. My friend Paul loves Nazareth. They're probably his group. My older brother loves BTO. That's his group. And my friend Peter loves older stuff. He loves Guess Who. And he loves CSN. Sorry, my apologies. Wrap this up quick before I bore you to death, which I haven't already done, sorry. So that's that. I appreciate your comments down below. Please don't be too negative. I mean, I don't try to be negative on people's videos. Again, this is just me giving my opinion. I'd love comments and your opinion. I could talk about music with any guy for ages. Because, it's going to be an audience. It's not like politics or religion. We're just, we're getting into fist fights and don't speak to each other again. This is music. Everyone loves music to some degree, of some sort, some genre. And for the purposes, I should have prefaced this, for the purpose of this video and this list, I left out everything but classic rock. I just put classic rock in. I left out country, I left out blues, I left out jazz, I left out folk, because if I put all those in there, it would just be impossible to fill this list. Absolutely impossible. So that's what it is. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave your comments. And hey, I've got 2 subscribers now. 2! Woohoo! Woohoo! Hitting the big time here. Thank you guys who subscribed to me. I know Robert Z was one. Thank you, Robert. And I'm pretty sure the other one was Bernard Jean from Quebec. Thank you, Bernard, my friend. And Mon ami. And I think that's, my French is rough. I'm sorry. I think that means my friend. So I'm going to leave that here for now. It's late. I got to go to bed because I got to be up at 5:30 in the morning to go to work. One more day and then I'm free. And I'm going to do another video tomorrow. I've got coming up the 50 album challenge. And I've got not really my rules, but my guidelines for shopping for vinyl and records and music in general. I sort of touched on that in my introductory video, but I'm going to go over it in a little more detail. That'll be a really short one, don't worry. And then I'm also going to do my 50 favorite albums. And believe me, I wrestled harder with that one than I did this. How do you pick 50 out of 1,600? It's hard. That was just, I've rewritten that list a dozen times at least. The paper was black with ink. I had to get white out and redo it all again and then think, oh man, I missed so-and-so. So, we'll call that a night. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see some comments down below. Give me a thumbs up, please. I'm new at this. I've got over my camera jitters, I think. I fixed the sound on my computer. and hopefully this will pass your test. And hope to see you again. Thank you very much, and good night.